it's Leisha Let's Play, coming at you with the beach house fast build. So I went about this a little different. I posted a house tour for it, and now I'm showing myself building it. So I want to get some house tours out for everything that I've built, but unfortunately it's really hard to do the mechanics of getting through the house unless I have people in it. So I need to make some families and throw them in some of my builds so that I can get you guys a house tour. But after that, I want to try and get some out because I've built some cool houses, and I feel like doing fast builds alone, you guys don't really get a feel for the whole house because I'm going so fast. So typically when I've been doing these, I've been posting them at 16 times speed. I did this at 8 times speed so that you guys can see a little bit more in depth what I worked on. So as I was building this originally, I just wanted to have kind of a tiered approach just for the sake of having decks. But then I ended up doing this push out deck completely by accident. I accidentally turned this top layer up here, and I was like, you know what? I dig this. I'm gonna make it work. So I put in these pillars and put in all these decks, which was something interesting for me because I haven't done that before. And it ended up kind of looking like a boat when all was said and done. It was kind of almost like a mini cruise ship's shape. So I went with it because I thought that's pretty fitting for a house on the sea to have it be somewhat boat shaped. Why not? So originally I just wanted to have pillars and then that top layer. And you can see it wasn't working because I needed at least one floor tile. So that was where I came up with the idea to kind of put these stand-up desk or stand-out decks out from each of them. And then that top deck ended up with that kind of pulled out piece being just a part of it. So one of them is enclosed, and that's the gym. Eventually it's going to become the gym and have windows all around it. So that's what you saw me building there. And then the other two are not enclosed. One of them is connected to deck, and the other one is connected directly to a building. So the one that is connected to a deck is, I believe, the one on the parents' floor and the upper floor. And then the one that is connected directly to the building, I believe, is on the kids' floor. But I could be slightly off on that. We'll see as I get further into the build. Even though I just built this, it's such a big build that I might be slightly off there. So I went around and I put banner, I don't know what that's called. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. The things on top of the poles that go all the way around. I put that around. I thought it was cool. It looked very islandy. I used a lot of island living here. And as I went, my kind of story for that bottom floor was that I was going to have servants' quarters on there, like, you know, staff quarters, not necessarily servants. So there's a room down there for the maid as well as the cook. And my stories with them is, so the people in this house are a businessman and his wife, and they live in this beautiful beachfront property. Obviously, it's right on the ocean, but they're humble. They're not like crazy, snobby, anything like that. Neither are their kids. So they live in this house with their 2 kids, and she brought her old nanny from when she was a kid into this house with them. They're both native islanders. I feel like maybe his parents built this house to be boat-shaped, and then he inherited it. He married her. And so she brings in her nanny to take care of her 2 kids. They have a boy and a girl. And then the nanny brings in her son, who's trying to learn how to be a chef and get into the culinary world. And they're like, cool, come work for us. You can be our private chef. We'll pay you really good. You have a place to live, and you can try out new recipes as you get your skills better and better. Because, you know, they're nice people. So he's here. He's honing his skills. He's kind of learning how to be a master chef. And then he's going to go out into the world and make it his own way. And then they also hired another girl who just needed a place to stay as their maid. And she's just basically responsible for, like, kind of keeping the house clean because, again, it's huge. So trying to keep up with it would be really difficult. So her whole response, you know, unless there's a lot of people working on their own spaces and then someone who can do all the sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, etc. That's my mind anyway. I don't have bust the dust, so there isn't really anything for her to do, but that's my story for her. And she lives with them. And again, she's just trying to save up money. She's trying to go to college. And so this is how she's saving up money to do it. She's working for this family as their maid. She gets to live there. She has her own private bathroom connected to her bedroom, access to the whole house, movie theater, pool, all kinds of stuff. So you saw me trying to do roof on this oddly shaped roof. I tried to put in tiles, and I was like, you know what? This is not working for me. So I ended up putting in the rooftop pool, and that did stick, and I do really like the rooftop pool. And then with the outside of the house, I wanted something that was still going to be very island living. So that's why I started out with this wood that came from island living, but it just looked too dingy for what I was going for, because this house is supposed to be very, very like beach, but also very luxe, because they are rich. They do have that money. So I wanted it to be a good blend of both. So eventually I settled on one that kind of looks like marble, and you'll see me select it eventually. And then once I found it, I stuck with it for the rest of the time. But this is me kind of experimenting with what can I find. And then that was, I believe, right around now is when I'm going to finally find it. But I was unsure for a while what I wanted it to look like. And then there it is. Yep, I found this one. And I was like, you know what? This is perfect. And I ended up going with still a different color for that deck that's built directly into the house without a deck around it, because I thought it looked nice. Thought it looked a little extra nice. So I put windows all around the pool, even though I put in that boat wallpaper, because once I saw that boat wallpaper, I knew it was what I wanted to go with. And then I thought, how cool would it be if I put windows all around this so everybody can see into the pool at all times? And when you're in the pool, you can see the people inside, you can see out over the ocean, you can, you know, do a lot of stuff from this pool. I ended up putting a projector up there too, so that they could, in theory, do movies in the pool. It's there's a lot of stuff up on that deck by the time I'm done. So here I started out with some of the already existing rooms from the Island Living pack, because I wanted to have a basis from which to go off of and have one that's very island themed. So that's the guest quarters that you see me building over there. That's entirely just guest room and guest quarters. And then this is the basic frame of what will become the kids' room. And then I also started a basic frame of what will be the nanny's room at one point. And this is the hallway in between the parents' half and then everybody else's half. So eventually there's going to be a kitchen and a movie theater and a sauna over on the one side, and then the parents' large room on the other side. I gave everybody upstairs walk-in closets. The parents, the nanny, and the two kids all have walk-in closets, and then the guests don't. Staff don't, but staff do have their own private bathrooms, and nanny has to share with the kids. So it's really, it's really a personal preference. And Danny also ends up with a kitchen in her room as well, because she's very responsible for the kids, because these parents are hardworking, they're business people. I mean, they try to be home as much as they can, but they gotta work. So in my mind, they want Nanny to have everything that she can have so that she can take good care of them. Her name is actually Genesis, the nanny's name, but I named her Nanny Genesis, Nanny Genesis Mobley, and yeah, she lives here. At the end, I think I introduced each member of the family so that I can go over each of them with you. So as far as windows go, I was not really sure how I wanted the windows to look, because I wanted it to look like a boat. I thought once I had the shape and it looked very boat-like, it was very important to me that it keep the aesthetic of a boat. Y'all know I love that word, aesthetics. So that was why I did a lot of windows, and I kind of went back and forth about how many windows do I want to have on this house. And eventually I had the idea for down on the bottom there to have it be a walk-in conservatory kind of area with maybe some plants and things. that they walk up from the beach and they can walk right into this area that is part of the house without actually being indoors. It's like an indoor outdoor space because they live in the islands and it doesn't really get cold in the islands like it does in a lot of other places. There might be, some breezes, some rain, but for the most part, there aren't going to be times where it's like snowing or anything. So having an indoor outdoor area is not really that big of a deal. So I thought this will be really fun. That's one of my favorite things about going to islands such as Hawaii is that a lot of things are outdoors while still being indoors. And I think it's really fun to be in an environment where you can still experience nature, but you can close the doors when it rains. So, I mean, they can't really close the door when it rains because there aren't doors, it's all arches. But I still thought, this will be fun. This will be fun. So I put a lot of stuff down there. And I like that they can just walk in and have this area that's just always open, straight from the beach. Outside is inside. They could watch the rain from there when it rains, because it rains in some of these island locales. I mean, tsunamis are a real thing, and so is monsoons. You could get some real rain. So here with the counters, I wasn't sure how long I wanted the counters to be, because I wanted it to be long enough that a lot of people could sit there, but not so long that it didn't feel, or that it felt like it was encroaching on that doorway to the sauna area. So yeah, that's why I ended up shortening the counters a little bit. And then for these cabinets, I didn't want to just bisect the windows, so I ended up moving them down, but then I ended up making the cabinets a little bit taller, so I did eventually move those windows back up because I didn't like the way it looked on the outside. And I tried to do some different stuff with the cabinets and use a different kind of cabinets that would still fit with it because I wanted it to look good together, but not all be one thing and have it be some different things. And with lighting, I try to also do some very islandy lighting. I sometimes when I've built movie theaters, I don't put very much lighting in there because movie theaters are so often dark. But then I thought about the fact that I was doing that one day, and they always turn the lights on, and then you can find your way out. So there's no reason for me not to put lights in there because they can always turn the lights off. Also, there's no glare on the TV from the lights in The Sims, so I don't suppose it really matters, but even here at home, we turn our lights off a lot of times when we're going to watch a movie, even without a glare. So I figured this way they have the option. In my mind, there's a light switch. So this kitchen was basically supposed to be like their main kitchen that they use in everyday life. This is one level above the kids and nanny's room. This is the same level as the parents' room. So in my mind, they use this kitchen a lot, and then the staff actually have their own kitchen completely separate from that upstairs kitchen that the parents have. It's not as luxurious and nice as that because it doesn't have as modern of stuff, but it's still really nice. It's the blanket island living kitchen. I threw it in there and with them with their own space because in my mind, especially with these people that I created to be their staff, they're a couple of college kids, so they might want their own space from the rest of the family and their own time to kind of do their own thing. So that's why I built their quarters separate. It wasn't like hey, let's build this so that the staff don't interact with the people they work for. No, it was nothing like that. They have free reign of the house. I didn't lock the doors to them or make it so that they couldn't go anyplace. I just thought, they're going to be hiring these people, and these people are going to want their own space where maybe they don't want to always eat with their employers, because I don't know if I'd want to eat with my employer all day, every day. So this way they have an area where they can do the cooking, do the cleaning, do all their stuff on their own without needing to interact with their employers. And very close to that area is the formal dining room. So if they were to have a big dinner party and have a lot of people over, then it would be really easy to have caterers go into that kitchen downstairs that the staff have, and they would just have that open to the caterers to go in and out and get the food there a lot easier versus them having to go all the way up to the third story in order to bring food all the way back down to that first story. It's a lot easier. So that was my mind there. You can see that the movie theater is finished now. I used the interior decorator pack because I love that home designer pack. It's probably my favorite. I have played it a lot. I've put in a lot of game time with it. I don't know, maybe it just is the way it just speaks to me. Maybe I'm into modern design, but I really liked it, so I went with it. So for the kids' bathroom, I really wanted to put that corner bathtub in there, but I wasn't sure how else I was going to structure the bathroom because I wanted them to have an area where they could shower and an area where they could use the bathroom when other people are there because it's two kids and nanny that are sharing this. And then this is just a guest bathroom that anyone can use, so that's why I threw a hot tub in there because I thought, you know what, why not? This will be fun. And then there's also a hot tub in the parents' room and a hot tub up on the roof, so lots of hot tubs. It is island living. I mean, you gotta have hot tubs, right? Not that the ocean isn't warm, because in my mind, the ocean's pretty warm too. And they also have a heated pool. So this is what I was saying. I wanted them to have an area where they could also have privacy. And I think wet rooms are really, really cool, especially a full wet room where there's showers and a bathtub all in one room and you can like just get the entire room wet. It's my favorite. We stayed at a hotel for our anniversary right by Universal Studios Japan in Osaka. And it's the Port Hotel. If anybody gets a chance to go, it was the Port Hotel. We loved it, and they had a wet room, and it was so fun because I could take a bath and Alex could take a shower, and neither one of us was cold, and both of us were happy because I like baths and he likes showers, and he's not a huge fan of baths, and I'm not a huge fan of showers. I just deal with them. So it was really fun for us because then we could do both at the same time, and we could still sit and interact, and I took some bubble baths. They provided bubble bath. It was fantastic. If any of you get a chance to go to Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, stay at the Universal Port Hotel because it was such an experience. But anyway, back to the build. So here with the walk-in closets with the kids, I actually had a lot of trouble getting this to cooperate. I don't remember if I recorded myself doing it, but you might see me turn on move objects. At least a couple times you will, but possibly for this, because it was not cooperating with me, and I was getting very frustrated. And then I would go back in, and portions of what I had built were deleted, and it was frustrating. So if any of you do download this from the gallery, I believe it's called Beachfront Paradise. So if any of you do download it and it's missing some of that shelving, I'm sorry. I really, really tried. I put it in there probably 4 times in the course of my house tour after I built it here in this fast build, and it was not cooperating with me, which was frustrating, but I kept trying. So I did a different TV for the little girls' room than I ended up doing for Nanny's the little boys' room. I did a wall-mounted TV, and for them I did a TV stand. I don't really know why I did that. I just did, and I noticed that I did, but I still did it. And then with the parents' room, I wasn't really sure how I wanted to fill this space because I wanted them to have this whole floor as theirs, just because that felt like something rich people would have, where they have this huge mansion and a whole floor just belongs to the parents and they have their own space. But anyway, so I gave them a big bathroom, and I ended up putting a platform in the room for their bed. Oh, this is the toilets I was talking about, so that they have privacy in the kids' bathroom. So I put their bed on a platform, and I liked it. I put her yoga mat on there too. I think it'd be really cool to have my bed up on a platform. But then again, I think if I actually had a house with the amount of space that I put in these mansions in The Sims 4, I wouldn't know what to do with myself because I would probably get lost. Because any of you who have ever met me in real life know I am notorious for getting lost. I can get lost going to a place that I've been to literally a million times. I am not good with directions, and I feel like if I lived in a giant house, I would probably get lost. Because I already get lost in big places like museums. Even if I've been there multiple times, I'll still sometimes get confused. I get lost very easily. So, back to my build. I put those towels to the side there. I know it seems a little bit awkward, but In my mind, it wouldn't be that hard to, like in real life, if you were there, to just reach around the corner and hang up your towel. And it made good use of the space. So that was why I did that. And I really like putting plants into the bathrooms. I feel like they would bring in some oxygen, some fresh air, maybe make it smell better. And also, they give you something fun to look at. So that's why I put a lot of plants in bathrooms, because I just think it's fun. Art, too. I think it's more fun if you have stuff to look at in the bathroom. We don't have anything to look at in our bathroom. We have a bathrobe, some towels, I have some bows. That's about it. There's really, yeah, nothing to look at. But at my apartment that I lived at with my brother at one point, I did have a clear shower curtain, just the liner and nothing else. So I put Doctor Who posters, like these really cool Doctor Who posters, outside of the shower. Like the shower was here and there was a wall right here and the door was here connected to my bedroom. So I put some pictures right there so that I could look at them from the shower. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was pretty awesome. And I considered putting a poster on the back of my toilet. I actually think maybe I did, in the back of my toilet, to give any guys using my bathroom something to look at. I don't really know where that insight came from. I wasn't dating anyone, I don't think, when I moved in there, but that's how I decorated my room. It was like that for a long time, and I don't still have those posters. I gave them all away. So this is the staff quarters. That's why there's some laundry room down there, kitchen, and then a bedroom for each of them with the bathroom that's all their own, so that they have space that is completely their own space. And then the reason why some of these rooms look like they're open floor is because of those stairs up to the roof on that third level. I think it's the third level. No, fourth level. So on the fourth level, I have stairs leading up to the roof. And those stairs made it like an open place. And so that went down through everywhere that I had stairs. It made them all look open. And it took me a second to figure out that this was the problem. So I sat there messing with walls and things for a long time trying to figure this out. And then eventually I figured it out. So I don't think I recorded me figuring it out, but eventually I have a staircase on either side leading up to the roof, and I built little walls around there so the staircases are in their own little rooms. So that solved the problem. Then the staircases were considered outside, but the rest of the house wasn't. So, and that was fine with me if the staircases were considered outside, because they actually would be exposed to the elements anyway. So that's what this is right here. You can see those two little rooms to the side. Those are my staircase rooms. I put some windows on it, try to make it so they still let in some natural light. I try to do a lot of natural light in this build because I really like natural light. You wouldn't know it because my blinds are closed right now, but I actually really like natural light. My blinds are just closed because I forget to open them, and sometimes I forget to put on pants, so they're usually closed. So I put fans in every room because it's an island. It's like Hawaii. I mean, it's gonna get hot, and I figure fans are an easy way to keep things cool. Their AC bill would probably be rather high as well, considering that they have that like walk-in area that I'm assuming they'd be pushing cold air out through there every time somebody opened a door, and cold air would be like hot air would be like hovering in there. So I'm sure their AC bills would be extremely high, but I've put a thermostat in there, so I'm sure they'll be fine. So with the boys' room and the little girls' room, I tried to format them very similarly because I felt like parents doing decorating would format them very similarly. Again, I feel like these guys grew up on the island. Maybe the parents built this house, but I'm thinking maybe these parents built this house. Maybe they lived in other places in the island and then he made it big in business and he had this house built. I don't know, maybe they renovated it, but clearly these rooms were built directly for their family. This whole house was built very directly for this family and what their situation is. So, and since I formatted it like that, in my mind, maybe they had this house built, maybe they renovated it. But with the kids' rooms and Nanny's room, they all have very similar elements. They each have a walk-in closet. They each have an area for reading. They each have an area with a couch and a TV, a huge entertainment center, and they each have a bed. And the kids each have a desk. Nanny does not, wait, no, Nanny does. So they each have a desk. And then Nanny also has a kitchen area. Obviously, her room is a little bit different than the kids' rooms. I don't know that it's smaller. I think maybe it's a little bit smaller as far as space, but the use of the space, I think I did pretty good with use of space. So Nanny has a whole little reading area that has a couch around it, because in my mind, she's the one helping them with their homework and all of that sorts of things. So she needs a special dedicated area for that. So I put a couple counters in there, a nice little couch. So that's what this is that you see me working on here and getting it all set up. So that's Nanny's reading area. And then with the little boy, because he's a toddler, he has his bunk bed with his desk under it, but then he also has a toddler bed next to that. And then he has his reading area very close to his bed, but he also has an extra area with a rocking chair in it over in the corner near his closet that has another little shelf with some other books. Because in my mind, he still needs rocking to sleep because he's only a toddler, he's still very young. So his parents rock him to sleep, or Nanny rocks him to sleep in that rocking chair, and some of his favorite bedtime stories are kept there. So now we're working on the parents' room. I wasn't sure where I wanted to put the door, so that's why I started with the TV over there, and then I changed my mind. And then I had this black wall that came from inside the walk-in closets, and I liked it, so I decided to do the white version of it on other areas of the wall, and then do another one that kind of fades from black into like a white, almost like light gray. So it's all very black and white and gray, and unfortunately, when I made the family for this, I made the video with me talking the whole time as I made them. And Bandicam and I are not friends. I will not invest in them again. The audio never syncs up. I can't seem to figure it out. I've gone through troubleshooting. It doesn't work for me. I'm not trying to bad talk them. I know it works for a lot of people, but for me, it just wasn't the best fit. So I've gone back to the way that I edited videos before, which is that I do my fast builds. I speed them up and do all of that in Microsoft Photos because I'm just awesome like that. And then I use VSDC to finish up my videos and put in this overlay of me talking to you guys on top of what I've already done. So it's working. I like it. I know there's a lot of much better softwares out there, but VSDC does what I needed to do, and honestly Microsoft Photos does too. So I generally stick with those. So as far as this area, I wasn't really sure how I wanted it to look. I wasn't really sure what to put in it. I knew I wanted a gym somewhere in there, and I thought I was going to put it on the roof, but then I thought, you know what, go put it inside. This is a nice little area, and that way, even if it is raining outside, they still have a spot where they can work out and they can watch the rain while they're rock climbing, playing some basketball, doing some yoga, maybe doing that exercise machine. Took me a second to remember what the words were, but yeah, I liked how that came out, and then I liked how all of this build came out, honestly. But again, it'd be too big for me if I lived there in real life. I'm not used to it. I really like the modular items, and I hope that we get more modular items. Because right now, everything that's modular comes from the interior design pack, the home design pack, and I wish we had more. I really do. I really, really like modular. I think it's really cool. I used pretty much everything that's modular at some point during this pack, even though it's supposed to be island and not modern. Again, I really like modern design, and also I just like the fact that it's modular. I like that you can change how long things are. I think that that's really important. It allows a lot more freedom and creativity. So with this couch in Danny's room, I could not get it to fit with the cabinets all along it like I wanted, and I moved the couch around a lot, so that's why I ended up just making it longer and having it reach all the way to the laundry machine. And again, Nanny has a laundry machine in her own room because there might be times where the parents are away on business or something, and Nanny having to trek all the way downstairs to the staff quarters to do laundry would be a little bit silly, especially because she's pretty much solely responsible for the kids when the parents are not around or when they're busy. I figured she needed the tools that she needs to take care of them at all times. Also, she could do her own clothes. And you know what? The parents can use her laundry room as long as they ask her. It's her room. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. She's known this mom since she was a baby. Like, she was this mom's nanny in my mind. And she is an elder. When I introduce her at the end of the pack, you'll see that she is an elder and her son is an adult, but a young adult. I liked this playing with size. I forgot for a while that I could do this, that I could play with the size of objects, and then I remembered, and I did it a lot in this pack. I played with the size of objects, I played with their positioning, I did that a lot, and it ended up really cool. I like it. I feel like real houses have more textures to them than some of the Sims houses do. I mean, obviously my house does not have that much texture to it. You can see it's pretty simple, but it's still really pretty. This is nice military housing. We don't have any issues. I really like where I live. But yeah, there's not really any textures. You can't really mess with the ceiling in The Sims. Oh, I did put a video game system, a giant video game system in each of the kids' rooms and the parents' room, just because it seemed like expensive computers too. It seemed like the kind of little thing that would be in a rich kid's room that you just wouldn't think about. That they would have the expensive game systems and the expensive computer, the expensive TV, and not really think anything of it because this is just their lives. And then I built this little playroom area in between the guest suite and the kids' rooms and where Nanny is, so that way the kids can really and honestly stay on this one floor a lot and be completely and totally content. And then building them this giant library was, of course, close to my heart because I love books. I'm wearing my book nerd shirt. I love books. So building a giant library was fun for me. That is a dream of mine. I would live in a library, you guys. I would totally live in a library. I love books. I've read almost 50 books this year. I read a whole book in the past couple days, and I'm always reading. Always in the middle of multiple books. It's just what I do. And then I really like these lights. I wish that these lights came in more colors. They look like homemade lights. And I like the colors. I like how vibrant they are. I like anything that's vibrant. So as far as decorating the houses, that's actually my least favorite part. I like doing like the basic building the house parts where I figure out the frame and what everything is going to be and what color it's all going to be. I like all of those parts a lot more than I like the actually filling it so that it looks like somebody lives there. Because that part is always a little bit difficult for me. Just because it gets a little bit monotonous. So this is our little girl. This is about to be the end of our video. So I put a little bit of an intro to each of the people who live in this family so you can see our little girl. She's going up the stairs. This is our little dude. This is Michael sleeping in his toddler bed. And then here are our parents. They're both working on the computer. I did tell them to do that. And Nanny Genesis is sleeping. She's sleeping in her bed. This is her son. He's our chef. He's working hard. Right there, he's just eating a meal because he was cooking before that. And then this is our maid. I guess she's eating some popcorn and watching them play video games. But anyway, she's our maid. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Now and here's Nanny fixing a dollhouse. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. You can check out the house tour for this beach house, which is also on my channel. See you, love you, bye.